Tonight on News at 9, commemorating war heroes, President Maithripala Sirisena reiterates commitment towards peace in Sri Lanka.
First at 9, this is Other Derana 24/7.
Also tonight, economic development. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe meets Northern Chief Minister on development. Building collapse. Minister of Megapolis vows stern action against people responsible. Search operations continues. GSP Plus. The European Union grants enhanced market access comes into effect from today. And in international headlines, Trump-Russia links. President Trump denies Comey's memo on him requesting Comey to stop Russia investigations.
But the entire thing has been a witch hunt.
Good evening. Live across Sri Lanka, this is Other Derana 24/7. I'm Mahesh Johnny. We begin tonight with the National War Heroes Commemoration, where a ceremony was held under the patronage of President Maithripala Sirisena today. The ceremony was held at the Sri Jayawardhanapura Kotte site of the War Heroes Memorial with the participation of ministers, chiefs of the Triforces, war heroes and the families of war heroes. This commemoration has been taking place since the war ended in 2009. The National War Heroes Commemoration ceremony was organized by the Ranaviru Service Authority of the State Ministry of Defence. Once President Maithripala Sirisena and other guests arrived at the ceremony, a 2-minute silence was observed by Anuma Fonseca, chairman of Ranaviru Service Authority, in remembrance of the war heroes who bravely sacrificed their lives for the motherland. The commanders of the Triforces, the Inspector General of Police, heads of security services and families of war heroes who laid down their lives for the motherland participated in the event.
The war dragged on for more than 30 years. Our country was not a nation that was ready for a war. On some occasions, the government of Sri Lanka had to ask the Indian government for the assistance of the Indian army. Even they were not able to defeat the brutal terrorists. But the brave war heroes of the motherland were able to liberate the country by sacrificing their lives. We know that there were times when history repeated itself. Some people who criticized our forces said that our army has too many troops and they should be removed. Although there are such occasions, the government is responsible for national security. It always strengthens the Tri-Forces. I pay my tribute to the great war heroes who saved the country without allowing it to be separated.
The President and the invitees then offered floral tributes at the Ranavira Monument. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa says that a path is currently being created for war heroes to be taken into special courts because they eradicated terrorism. The former president made these remarks at the event to unveil the pinnacle of the Ranaviru Upahara Mahasaya built at the Sri Vijayarama Temple in Piliyandala.
Today marks a very important day for us. This was the day we saw the end of the war. The entire world is talking about eradicating terrorism. However, none of the world leaders were able to eradicate terrorism. Our war heroes were able to defeat terrorism here at home. That was the conception of reconciliation. We couldn't achieve reconciliation if we didn't end the war. Hospitals were built, roads were constructed, water and electricity were provided. Although leaders try to forget all that happened because of their own political agendas or foreign influence, I don't think we'd ever be able to forget war heroes. However, the war heroes have become murderers now. A special court system is to be established to punish them. We believe what they are trying to do with all of this is to stagnate the effort to eradicate terrorists.
Into one of our headline stories, as the decision by the European Commission to grant GSP Plus comes into effect today, Sri Lankan exports will enter the European market duty-free. Exporters hope the renewed concession will help rebuild and develop industries, boost deteriorating profit margins and expand exports to Europe, Sri Lanka's largest export destination.
Granting Sri Lanka access to the European Union market, the European Commission today officially restored the generalised scheme of Preferences Plus for Sri Lanka after publishing it in the official journal of the EU. GSP Plus grants full removal of duties on 66% of tariff lines covering over 6,000 products, including textile and fisheries, to countries which ratify and implement core international conventions relating to human and labour rights, environment and good governance. According to the European Union, the removal of import duties will provide immediate benefits worth in excess of 300 million euros to Sri Lanka annually until the island achieves upper middle income country status for 3 consecutive years. Meanwhile, at a discussion with entrepreneurs at Temple Trees yesterday, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has stressed that benefits of the GSP Plus concession should be shared by all.
Before starting new exports, we have to develop the exports we currently have. We should first work on the apparel, fisheries, rubber and tyre sectors. I will not be satisfied only with high production. Profits should be high and employees should benefit. GSP should benefit everyone. Every local should feel the benefit.
Well, let's get more details into receiving the GSP Plus concession from today onwards. Joining me right now is the Deputy Minister of Public Enterprise, Ranil Wickremesinghe. Minister Ranil, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It is a great achievement by the government of Sri Lanka in order to get the GSP Plus concession right now. Now, the question lies as to what it means, like how exactly are we going to see some kind of changes, let's say 3 months, 6 months, 1 year down the line. What kind of changes can the economy expect?
I would say that while you commented that the government should be commended on getting the GSP Plus, today is a significant day, and it's also significant because we remember those who sacrificed their lives for this country. Actually, this goes to them, the credit goes to them as well, because they want the peace. The government has been able to negotiate themselves to getting the fishing ban lifted, getting the GSP concession back. Now, what this means is, right, that you can export. There are nearly 6,000 plus items into Europe, the largest market in the world in a sense, and it will go almost duty-free. Only 8 countries really have this GSP Plus benefit, 2 in Asia, and Sri Lanka becomes the 3rd country in Asia. What it will now mean is that our exports become more competitive. As we all know, over a long period of time, a decade and a half, Sri Lanka's exports have been systematically coming down as a percentage of GDP from the highs of about 32% now to about 14–15%. Now we are going to go back with vengeance. New factories can open, new products can come in. As the Prime Minister mentioned, even the traditional ones like garments can expand, rubber products can go with more value addition, tea can go in, gems, jewelry, diamonds and various other things which I'm sure the export community will think about. So it will create new products into new markets, and it will mean new jobs, particularly in the rural areas, and incomes in the hands of people.
Minister, if you talk about the diversification of exports and try to understand, it always has been several sectors in terms of getting these kinds of benefits. Now, how can your government make sure that it trickles down to the very end of the spectrum where people are from rural areas? How can they benefit from this as well?
Yeah, I don't think you can look at GSP Plus on its own, as that report indicated that when you are a middle income, high middle income country for 3 consecutive years that you actually lose the benefit. So what that is actually saying is that in addition to the FTAs we are negotiating with India, with China, with Singapore, that we should also be thinking way ahead, right, about creating a comprehensive economic partnership even with Europe. So it's not just about GSP Plus, it's about the whole total package. We are opening up the economy, we are creating new markets, we are getting benefits, and then we have to become more productive. Our labor productivity has to go up. We have to have a more open economy. We must be more open to FDIs coming in and to competition. That's the way forward for the Sri Lankan economy. There is no other way. And therefore, this is just a breather that has been given, which we could benefit from.
All right, Deputy Minister of Public Enterprise and Development, Ranil Wickremesinghe, thank you very much, sir, for joining us. And we will certainly we'll be keeping in contact with you in order to get more information as we move ahead with restoring of the GSP Plus concession. Well, thank you once again for joining us, sir. Let's take a short commercial break. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. The search and rescue operation for survivors under the collapsed building in Wasanthakumara is still underway. Last night, a rescued victim died upon admission to the National Hospital in Colombo. The Excellency reception hall, a 7-story building, collapsed yesterday, injuring 23 persons.
A part of the Excellency reception hall located adjacent the Savoy Cinema Hall in Charlemont Road collapsed yesterday at 10:36 a.m. At the time of the incident, 50 workers were engaged in construction activities on the top stories of the building. We received CCTV footage from within the building during the collapse. Twenty-three persons injured in the collapse were immediately admitted to the National Hospital in Colombo and Colombo South Teaching Hospital in Colombo. An individual who was buried under the rubble for 9 hours was rescued last night but succumbed to his injuries upon being admitted to the National Hospital in Colombo. The victim, Sampath Udayakumara, was a 31-year-old resident of the Hasalaka area. Meanwhile, rescue missions commenced today on information that 2 others were still trapped under the rubble. Their families were seen gathered at the site today.
We are asking the Tri-Forces and the police to please find our grandmother for us.
Authorities suspect that a 60-year-old woman from Moratua and another male are missing. Meanwhile, officials attached to the National Building Research Organisation and Urban Development Authority visited the site today. Following the observation tour, the National Building Research Organisation recommended the temporary suspension of construction work in the vicinity of the site. Meanwhile, Colombo Municipal Commissioner V.K.A. Anura said construction of the collapsed building had been done illegally.
That building had been constructed facing the canal, neither adhering to any standards nor obtaining permission from us. They never handed over a plan and it was constructed illegally. We will take legal action against the owner of this illegal construction.
Meanwhile, Minister of Megapolis and Western Development Patali Champika assured serious legal action against those responsible for the building, which was illegal and unauthorized. Addressing a media briefing held in Colombo today, the minister revealed that the owners of the collapsed building had not obtained a certificate of conformity for its construction.
It has been revealed now that it's a illegal, unauthorized construction. We will take serious legal action against the perpetrators of this incident. And also, we have already appealed to the police, the IGP, to take legal action for their negligence using the penal code to punish who are responsible for this incident.
Minister Patali Champika added that a survey conducted by the Ministry of Megapolis and Western Development revealed of 1,800 unauthorized constructions in the area of Bambalapitiya and Vellavatta.
We will take serious legal actions against all these offenders. And at the meantime, we are soughting help from Statistics Department to have a proper survey there. They will conduct a survey to ascertain the number of illegal and unauthorized substandard construction there in the Colombo area and we will expand these activities to the Mount Lavinia as well as the Colonna area. Rough estimation is there. Around 10,000 illegal, unauthorized, substandard living spaces are there. So we will take stern action against all these illegal constructions and the owners of these places.
Chief Minister of the North Central Province, Peshala Jayaratne, says that plans to hold all provincial council elections simultaneously have been discussed. The Chief Minister made the remark while attending an event marking the acceptance of duties by newly appointed Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Housing Affairs, Sampath Srivikramarchi.
I don't know whether that is exactly true. However, there was a discussion that all provincial councils should hold elections simultaneously. At the last general election, political parties proposed the same.
Meanwhile, a considerable amount of political crossfire was exchanged over the crossing over of newly appointed ministers Sampath Srivikramarchi and Sarath Ilangasinghe from the joint opposition camp to the government camp.
When politicians change their allegiance, it is typical to accuse them of doing so for money. When we tried to find out why they had agreed, we found that it was with the aim of getting financial perks and various other assets. We are thankful to Minister Sarath Ilangasinghe. No matter how much mudslinging takes place over financial allegations, we maintain that we have not given him a single cent. Many accusations have been levelled against me, saying that I left for the sum of 20 million rupees. I'm ready to declare my assets to the public.
Ransika Patirana, who suffered serious injuries in the shooting carried out against the Police Narcotics Bureau in Piliyandala, succumbed to her injuries. The 11-year-old girl passed away at around 3:45 a.m. today while being treated in the intensive care unit of the National Hospital.
Ransika Patirana was among several bystanders who were shot on the 9th of May when gunmen targeted a team of officers from the Police Narcotics Bureau in Piliyandala. A police constable died in the incident while 2 other inspectors and a civilian were injured. Ransika was transferred to the Colombo National Hospital on the 17th of May from the Colombo South Teaching Hospital in Kalubowila for treatment for severe head injuries. Her younger sister and elder brother also sustained injuries after being struck by bullets. Ransika's sister has been discharged from hospital after treatment, while her brother is still being treated at the Colombo South Teaching Hospital, Kalubowila. Meanwhile, the OIC of the raid unit of the Police Narcotics Bureau, Rangajeevan Umal, who was treated at the intensive care unit of the National Hospital, was transferred to the police hospital yesterday on account of the improvement of his condition, while the other constable is still being treated at the National Hospital.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe held discussions with the Chief Minister of Northern Province, C.V. Vigneswaran, in Jaffna today. The development of the Northern Province, reconciliation and other issues faced by the Northern population were discussed. During the discussion, the Northern Chief Minister called for the government to understand the issues of the Northern Province and provide solutions accordingly.
Parliamentarians representing the Jaffna district, provincial council ministers and officials from the Northern Province joined the discussion between Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and Chief Minister of the Northern Province, C.V. Vigneswaran.
We are committed to the development of the northern economy. Unless the Northern Province economy picks up, there is no way in which we can obtain and sustain a high rate of growth. If we can get industry to develop, tourism to develop, much as agriculture and fisheries, when put in more infrastructure development, then certainly the Northern Province rate of growth will increase. People of Jaffna, especially the rehabilitated people, must also get the benefit of peace. Peace is for everyone. While we pursue the political aspects of it, the resettlements, the giving up of releasing of land, when the economy of the north picks up, the economy of the southern province and Sabaragamu also benefits.
In working out our industries, we would prefer not to use our natural resources internally available if alternatives from elsewhere could be procured or purchased. Release of productive lands from the armed forces must be followed by rapid economic development based on knowledge and technology transfer, bearing in mind our immediate and future needs.
Business news follows after this short break. Stay with us. On to business news now. Additional Director of the Central Bank's Information Technology Department, Wasanthakumara says perpetual treasuries and wealth trust securities together had misused treasury bond auctions for monetary gain. He said this when he was cross-examined by the Commission of Inquiry probing the controversial central bank bond issuance today.
Appearing before the Commission of Inquiry today, Additional Director of Central Bank's Information Technology Department, Wasanthakumara was cross-examined by Deputy Solicitor General Melinda Gunatilaka. He focused on transactions of perpetual treasuries in central bank treasury bond auctions between the period from March 2, 2015 and September 30, 2016. In response, Wasantha stated that Perpetual Treasuries and Wealth Trust Securities Limited had together during many auctions engaged in transactions. Wealth Trust Securities Limited, a primary dealer in the secondary market, had acted as a seller beneficiary for Perpetual Treasuries. At the same time, Perpetual Treasuries had also acted as a separate primary dealer, creating the opportunity for both parties to continuously engage in transactions between themselves via real-time gross settlement system. The system allows primary dealers to transfer and transact on a real-time and on a gross basis. Wasantha revealed that at times, transactions between the two dealers occurred within a span of 25 seconds. The Additional Director of the Central Bank's IT Department also noted that these transactions were a source of monetary gain for Perpetual Treasuries by selling Treasury bonds for higher prices and raising interest rates during transactions. Deputy Solicitor General Melinda Gunatilaka also focused on reverse repo and repo transactions of Perpetual Treasuries. Wasantha also described how no interest rate was involved in transactions between Perpetual Treasuries and another primary dealer, First Capital Holdings. However, during reverse repo and repo transactions with the Employees Provident Fund, Perpetual Treasuries had involved an interest rate component. Concluding the session, Deputy Solicitor General Melinda Gunatilaka said, these transactions seem to indicate that Perpetual Treasuries had volatile prices during Treasury bond auctions. The Commission of Inquiry will reconvene on the 5th of June at 10 a.m.
Colombo equities closed the week in an optimistic note driven by price appreciations in selected mid-caps but on thin volume. The ASPI experienced a steady upward trend with some volatility to reach an intraday high of 6,735 but closed at 6,730, gaining 32 points. Market turnover was 618 million rupees. Foreign investors were net buyers of 1 million rupees worth of shares, and foreign participation accounted for about 7% of market activity. We have Imeshi Fernando from the Colombo Stock Exchange for more details.
The market capitalization at the end of the day was 2,967.39 billion rupees. Top 5 gainers of the day were The House, Raklanka Finance, Blue Diamonds, Non-Voting, Kothmale Holdings and Muscalia Plantations, while the top 5 losers were Kalamazu, Zerandip Engineering, Adam Investments, Alufab and Blue Diamonds.
Now here's a look at how the Sri Lankan rupee traded against other currencies today. Sports news follows after this commercial break. Stay with us. Welcome back everyone, on to sports now. Sri Lanka are in second place after the first day of the South Asian Junior and Cadet Table Tennis Championships with wins in all matches save for 2 defeats to India. Hosted by Sri Lanka for the first time, the 2017 Championship is a 3-day event which began today at the indoor stadium of St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia. Sri Lanka go into the tournament having won 9 golds in 10 events last year.
The South Asian Junior and Cadet Table Tennis Championship 2017 was inaugurated under the patronage of Minister of Sports Dayasiri Jayasekara. The championship is organised by the Table Tennis Association of Sri Lanka and is being contested by India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Maldives, Nepal and Sri Lanka. Each country is represented by 14 players and 1 official. The 3-day competition features singles and doubles events for boys and girls in under 18 and under 15 age categories. Derana 24/7 is the official media sponsor for the championship.
On to international news now. Swedish prosecutors have decided to end the rape investigations into WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange and revoke the Europe-wide warrant for his arrest, as it was impossible to serve him notice of his alleged crimes. However, the London Metropolitan Police confirmed that it would arrest Assange for the lesser charge of failing to surrender to a court should he leave the Ecuadorian embassy where he has been living since 2012. WikiLeaks tweeted that the focus now moves to the UK, which has not commented on whether it has received an extradition request for Assange. If extradited to the US, Assange could face trial over leaking hundreds of thousands of military and diplomatic documents. US President Donald Trump denies reports that he urged former FBI Director James Comey to close the investigation into former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn's Russian links, describing the entire investigation as a witch hunt. Trump made the remarks yesterday at a joint news conference with visiting President of Colombia, Juan Manuel Santos.
When asked by the New York Times whether he had at any time urged former FBI Director James Comey to close or to back down the investigation into Michael Flynn, Trump responded in the negative.
No. Next question. I think it's totally ridiculous. Everybody thinks so. Director Comey was very unpopular with most people.
Trump continued to deny any links between his eventually successful presidential campaign and Russia.
But the entire thing has been a witch hunt, and there is no collusion between certainly myself and my campaign, but I can always speak for myself and the Russians. Zero.
Meanwhile, citing current and former US officials, Reuters reports that Michael Flynn and other advisors to Trump's campaign held contact with Russian officials in at least 18 calls and emails during the last 7 months of the presidential race. 6 of the previously undisclosed contacts were phone calls between Sergei Kislyak, Russia's ambassador to the United States, and Trump advisors, with another 12 calls, emails or text messages to others considered to be close to Russian President Vladimir Putin.
Well, that is a part of your world tonight right here on Other Derana 24/7. Other Derana News at 9 will return tomorrow at the same time. Indiveri will join you for the weekend. I'm Mahesh Johnny. And before we go, we like to take you to the National Basilica of Thelvatha in Ragama, a hallowed site for Christians in Sri Lanka. This immense church is Sri Lanka's only basilica and was built to fulfill a vow calling for the blessings of Virgin Mary on Sri Lanka during the Second World War. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Other Derana 24/7.